Hello crafters, I hope you're having an awesome day. So today is going to be kind of like a story time, I guess you could say, and I'm going to be showing you a crafting project. So what this is all going to culminate in is this adorable little unicorn that I crocheted for my cousin. But the thing is, crafting is rarely just like you sit down, you make your project and that's it. There's like, every project has a story. And this project in particular has like the craziest of stories. And also you're gonna see that I have just a bunch of these random pictures and then a little video clip of the finished project. And the reason why I don't have better pictures of the finished product is because of the story that was involved with making this. So let's start at the beginning of this story. It's summer vacation off of school, and summer vacation usually means traveling. And sometimes it means that you're the one traveling, and other times it means people travel to visit you. So my cousins and their family, they came in town, and my grandparents were here, and we just had a good time together. And they're cousins that I'm not going to see very often because of where they live. So it was this big excitement that they're going to be here. Now when they were here, it was actually the birthday month of my two cousins that were going to be in town. And so one night while they were here, we did a little birthday party with presents and a cookie cake and candles and all, just a fun little party night. Now a few months back, before they were coming in town, the youngest of the two cousins had seen this picture of a crochet unicorn, and she was like, so hey, can you make something like this? And I was like, you know, I could look into seeing if I could find a pattern for that. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to. And so she was like, okay, would you make me one? I was like, you know what, I'll try to get one ready for when you're here. But this was a few months before they got here. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna surprise her and I'm gonna have that unicorn ready. So I was looking for the one that she had sent me a picture of, and the pattern was a paid pattern. And you know, I don't have anything against people selling their patterns. I think it's awesome that crafters are able to support themselves. But for me, just in my situation, I was like, you know what, I bet I could make something that looks similar, not the exact same, but something that looks similar, just kind of make it up as I go. So naturally, if you're trying to make up a crochet project and you need it to be ready by a certain time, you probably shouldn't start the night before. Yes, I started the night before they were getting in town, and we were planning to do their birthday celebration on like the second day. So I started working on this unicorn, and I've got some pictures here. And the way it was turning out at first, because I worked like down from the head and the body, and it ended up being like this rainbow unicorn where it was white with a golden horn and then a bunch of just like rainbow mane and tail. So before there was a nose or a unicorn horn or the hair or anything, it looked like this freaky alien baby. And I honestly was like, oh, I'm like a proud mother of an alien baby. So that's what that picture is. There's another one. You can see I was trying to get the little cheeks in there. That's it before the nose. Another shot. You can probably tell from this photo, but I look a little tired, and that's because it was like really late the night before. I was trying to like madly finish this up. See there, you can see another picture of it, another angle. And so I kept looking at it, and my sister was in here, we were both laughing. We were like, it looks like an alien baby. So then we had some fun with the project while it was in process, and we did this little knockoff. See if you recognize it from the Twilight Zone.
I'm talking Tina, and I don't like you.
So if you've watched the Twilight Zone before, you might recognize that little clip. But honestly, like before the nose got on there, it was the creepiest looking thing. And I'm like, I can see it coming together, but right now it was not looking at all like a unicorn. So finally we got the nose on. Another little like, I'm holding my baby alien, but now it's looking a little more like a baby unicorn. Of course, there's the eyes. You might notice the eyelashes. What I did for that was you could use safety eyes like this, but I don't have any safety eyes, so I just used some snap clips. So like, and I used my snap cam pliers to put those on. And then for the eyelashes, I just had some yarn that has like a fringe on it. And so I just put the snap clip in place to hold the fringed yarn in place to create the eyelashes. So that's what I did there. But it started coming together better finally. And this right here, this is the very last picture I got of the unicorn. And I actually did not get any pictures of it once it was finished because, fast forward to the next morning. This is about how far I got it the night before they were here. I actually, you know what, I got the legs on the night before they arrived. So I was that far. The only thing I had left to do was the hair. So now it's the next day, the day they're getting here, and I'm scrambling to work on the hair, and I'm not even thinking about photos or anything. So then they get in town, and this starts like the crazy vacation week, because basically whenever my family is on vacation, whatever could go wrong does go wrong, and then some. You know, like the weirdest things. Like, for example, we went to Ocracoke Island last summer for a family vacation, and what do you know, the week that we were planning to go, the island lost power and they evacuated people, and we almost weren't able to go. So crazy stuff like that always happens when my family is involved in vacations. So I don't know why, but this vacation ended up being no different. And so this part of the story is the reason why I don't have better footage of the finished project, except for the clip I'm going to show you at the end. So basically, they get in town, it was awesome getting to see them, and we did some different things. So one day we went out on the lake and we did some stuff. That was like the second night they were here. And then we get home that night and everyone's pretty worn out. And next thing you know, my cousin fractures her arm on the golf cart. Fortunately, it wasn't like a super severe like golf carting accident. It was honestly like a really freak thing where she was driving it and she ended up braking too hard, and probably just from being worn out from doing stuff on the lake all day, she ended up bracing herself with her arm, jammed her wrist, and fractured it. So instead of like nice family vacation getting to see everybody, that night turned into everybody's crazy tired and we're taking people to the ER. So my cousin ended up in the ER and they're looking at it and they're like, yep, honey, you broke it. And at first we were thinking, you know, it didn't seem like that severe of a brace that she did, and so it seemed like it probably was just sprained, but it ended up having 2 fractures in it, in her wrist and in her arm, and of course it was her right arm, and she's right-handed, so I felt so bad for her. So that definitely changed the trajectory of the whole vacation week. So basically we were trying to come up with things to do that someone could do with a broken arm. So that kind of limits what we're able to do. So as if that wasn't crazy enough, dealing with a freak accident with a broken arm, then my grandfather, he ended up having this weird like cough and just congestion on his chest. So they went to the doctor said, oh, it's no big deal, whatever, sent him home, and we were all like, okay, it seems like he has like fluid on his lungs, but the doctor says it's just a cold, you know, just try to stay healthy, stay hydrated. Well, by the next day, he was doing worse, and then the next morning, he was having a hard time breathing. And this is at 5 a.m. in the morning. So 5 a.m., some of the family was staying at my grandparents' house, some was staying at our house. At 5 a.m., my mom wakes us up and drops off the one cousin with the broken arm and says, hey, we're taking Pop-Up up to the hospital because he's having trouble breathing. And we're all like, what in the world? So obviously that was not at all how we were wanting the vacation to go. So then it set off the next several days, the last few days of them being in town, with constant trips back and forth to the hospital, trying to keep the cousin with the broken arm, keep her on her pain meds regularly so she wasn't having a lot of pain. And so basically what played out with my grandfather in the hospital was that he had pneumonia, and the doctor the day before, for whatever reason, wasn't able to pinpoint that yes, it was pneumonia. So he had pneumonia, had fluid on his lungs, and then the strain of all that sent his heart into AFib, which obviously is not a good thing. And so he was in the hospital for about 3 or 4 days, very serious situation, you know, high stress, you know. So the last thing on my mind at this point was the crochet unicorn. I knew I wanted to do a little video and talk about this, but obviously when your cousin breaks her arm and your grandfather is in the hospital with pneumonia and AFib, you're probably not really worried about a crochet unicorn and taking pictures of that. So anyways, that's what kind of was all going on that week. Fortunately, in the end, my grandfather, they were able to treat the pneumonia and get his heart stabilized and back out of AFib after a few days of just everything kind of going crazy. And he was able to come home, and now he's doing very healthy, very good. And as far as my cousin with the broken arm, that kind of ended up being another crazy story, because when she was here, they didn't actually do a cast. They just kind of splinted it where they had a piece on either side and they wrapped it tightly, told her to take it easy. And for whatever reason, the doctor was saying that we're not going to put a hard cast on it unless we can finish up your treatment. Well, they weren't going to stay for 6 weeks to finish up the treatment for the same doctor to see her arm, so they needed to go back home. So the doctor said, okay, we're only going to do this splint on here because it's not that bad. Guess what? They get home and it turns out that guess what? The fracture is now worse, and we're gonna have to put a hard cast on this because they should have put a hard cast on from the beginning. Fortunately now, her arm is doing so much better. She's out of the cast. She's able to, you know, get back to school and function and everything. But it was just like one thing after another, just absolute craziness. So somehow in there, with all this craziness going on, I was able to finish up the unicorn for the one cousin, and then for the older cousin, the one who broke her arm, I made one of these headbands. That's actually when I first found the pattern. And if you want to know how to crochet this, click the card up above. But while they were here, because of the craziness, I was able to get their projects finished in time for them to take home with them, but I wasn't actually able to sit down and film or do an actual photo shoot with the unicorn. So instead what I did was I FaceTimed my cousin, and unfortunately when I screen recorded it, it didn't actually pick up audio. I didn't know it wouldn't because I didn't use my phone because my phone's too old to screen record, and so I used my sister's phone, and turns out that it didn't actually get the audio. So I still have the video here. My cousin Megan, she's so cute, so you'll still get to at least see her. You won't get to hear her talking, but she's gonna show the unicorn, and I'll just kind of explain what we were probably saying at this point in the video. I'm gonna kind of be guessing, but let me pull that up. So here we are. I'm doing like the cheesy like wave hi, and then I'm probably like asking her how she's doing. And then here's the unicorn. It's so cute. I love how it turned out. And it didn't turn out quite exactly like the picture that she sent me of what she wanted it to look like, but it was still kind of what she was thinking of, and she still really liked it. So here she is showing some different angles. You can see that I kind of went with the oversized head and smaller body just to kind of make it have that extra cute factor. There you can see the hair. I did a bunch of those corkscrews and just kind of tied them on in a line going down the middle, and then tied a whole bunch in the back. Okay, so this was funny. I think what she's talking about here is because of my cousin's broken arm, we spent a lot of time watching Netflix. So we're in our bedroom. I was sitting on the top bunk with Megan, and some of my other cousins and siblings were on the bottom bunk. And so she would take the unicorn by one of the corkscrew hairs, and she'd like bounce it down in front of the girls watching, and she thought it was the funniest thing. And every time they'd be like, "What are you doing?" And it would startle them because she would just like almost drop the unicorn on them. So that was a lot of fun. Okay, I don't know what we're saying here. Just like kind of smiling and nodding. You might also notice that the eyelashes are a little bit shorter than they were earlier in some of the photos because I trimmed them in the end just to give them a little more polished look. I didn't trim them at first because I wasn't sure how I actually wanted them to look. So there you go. That is the unicorn that I was able to make. And I guess we're probably saying bye now in the video, I think. Maybe we're probably saying something else. Okay, there we go. Now we're saying bye. There you go. That is the crochet unicorn that I made. And I haven't mentioned this already, but I used mandala yarn to crochet that. And ironically, I used the color pack called Unicorn. I did use a little bit of yarn from, I believe, the Pegasus mandala to get some of the other colors for the hair. But for the most part, it was from the mandala unicorn, and then grabbing from a couple different mandala schemes for the other colors. But anyways, that is the crochet unicorn that I made. I hope you enjoyed this story time. If you want me to do more like story time kind of videos where I'm just talking about situations with crafting or crochet or just my life, definitely leave a comment down below letting me know if you like this kind of video. Also, if you think my cousin Megan did an awesome job in this video, don't forget to leave a big thumbs up so she knows she did a great job, even though you couldn't hear her talking, but at least she knows she did a great job showing the unicorn. Happy crafting!